Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Amateur Repair Time. Look at this beauty I've got here. I was at the flea market today, and I've really been getting into clocks again lately. I've been working on a lot of radios, but also a lot of clocks. And I just love these things. And I'm walking down the front row, and there's this guy set up, and he's got a whole bunch of interesting stuff. And on the back table is this clock laying down, and I'm drawn to these things like a moth to the flame. I already have like 20 or 30 of them. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that to brag, because they're not worth anything. You see the condition of this. I'm not trying to brag, right? So they're not worth a bunch, but I just like them. So if I see them cheap, I get them. So it's laying on the back table. And I don't know how many of you go to the flea market, but you got to play it cool. You don't want to go up and go, oh, there's a clock, because then the guy will say it'll be $50, right? So it's laying back there, and this thing's pretty rough. So I see it, I'm trying to play it cool, and the guy goes, "You like clocks?" He says, "You like clocks?" And I said, yeah, I like clocks. And he said, "I'll sell you that one, $10. Well, hell, I paid $10 for it. So sitting on the clock, it was laying down flat, right? And I'm seeing it from a distance. Sitting on it is this pendulum, and then this key, right? Well, if you know anything about, the parts, these are worth a couple bucks. But this pendulum's worth about $15, just the pendulum. So it's worth more than the rest of the clock, really, or as much, So it's worth $10 just for the pendulum. So I tell him, "Okay, man, yeah, I'll give you $10. Can I just leave it here, and I'll walk around and come back and get it here in a little bit?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll take care of it. I'll watch it for you." So it's laying on its back, right? So, obviously I can tell that the glass is all screwed up. It looks like it's been spray painted or something. It's not great, but it's a 100-year-old clock. It's pretty cool. I like it. So I walk around. I never even touched the thing, right? I walk around and I come back, and it's still laying there. And then I notice, what the hell? What have they done to this baby? The spring is sprung. That ain't right. That's not how it's supposed to be. So then I open up the door. They've spray painted the whole freaking clock. It's got like brown spray paint on it or something. I don't know. And then look what the hands are doing to the face, because the clock is mounted, the movement is mounted to the back wall, and the back of the cabinet's falling off. So we got to work on it a little bit, but we're going to mess with it. And so then after I put it in the truck, I start looking at it, and I start thinking, man, I might have this same exact clock. This looks so familiar. So it's got these columns on the side, and it's got the kind of flat square headdress almost. And it's kind of rounded, and there's like a rounded crest or sun, like wheel looking thing here. And then there's these two pillars here on the side. So I'm going to look around and see if I've got this same exact one. And maybe we'll get it out and check it out too. But if not, though, I'm going to look it up and see if we can figure out what the name of this one is. So it is an Ingraham. Very cool. So I would like to save the dial. Basically, I want to leave it how it is. I'm not going to repaint that and all that, or try to take that paint off. It's, this thing is not a top of the line one. But what I'd like to do is get it working well and get a new glass for it. So the glass has a crack in it from here to here, and they have painted it to try to hide the crack. Now, I have actually seen these where they have they have the rubbing on it, where it's got the gold looking foil looking stuff that actually is shaped like that. So at first thought, I thought that's what it was, and they had just painted over it or something. But no, there's a crack. So they're trying to hide that crack. It's kind of smart. There's another crack there. Luckily, those aren't very expensive. I guess that's glass. I may even be able to order a brand new piece of glass with the art already on it. Oh, look, that's like, what in the hell have they done? That's wood. So we've got some hackery going on here, folks. So what I'd like to do is find a picture of the original one if possible, so I can see what the pattern was that was on it, so we can order another piece of glass that's either got the pattern already on it, or order a rubbing and or even a decal if need be, and then just, you know, cut a piece of glass for it. I think that would take this clock a long way. It would make it look a heck of a lot better if it just had a new piece of glass on it, because the you know, it's not supposed to be brown like that, but it's not too far off the way they look. Yeah, I've got some over here. You know, that might be an Ingram as well. That one up there certainly looks like an Ingram. I can't remember, though. We did a video on that one. But yeah, so let me see if I can find, if I've got this exact same one. That headdress, the top part, the rooster top, looks very familiar. Let me make sure I don't have this exact same one, and then let me try to figure out what model it is. Okay, so there is a website called clockhistory.com where this gentleman has scanned in all kinds of catalogs and stuff from over the years. And so this is in the Ingram catalog from 1907. And they have this one listed. It's the Ocean Line, the Atlantic. But notice the pillars. That's interesting. So the top is exactly the same. The pillars are this kind of vase looking thing, this vase looking thing. And look at the glass. It has like chains, like a chain on the left hanging down, and a bunch of flowers at the bottom. We're seeing the pendulum in the middle. And then some flowers on the right. Let's see if we can tell what that pendulum is supposed to look like according to this. I wonder if that's the same one we've got. All right, so yeah, those little, the pillars on the side are interesting. So this is from the same year, and it's the mirror line, and they're calling this one the crystal on the left. Now, if you look, the pillars are, I guess, mirrors. I guess that's why they call it the mirror line. But the headdress, the top part, is the same thing. Or I believe it is. Am I getting it confused? Okay, so it's, these little things are kind of rounded. And there's two leaves that come around. And you got the two pillars at the top. So, yeah, I think that's the same thing. Maybe it's just they're showing it in different detail, but it's the same carving. Yeah, that's the same carving. It's just a slightly different base, because, you know, that just attaches on. Okay, so let me look, see if I can find any other. Okay, so searching online, I'm finding tons of these. It's called the Ingram Atlantic, but look at this particular one. See how the pillars are different? See how it has this big circle thing in the middle? It's like a, I don't even know what you would call that. What do we want to call that? It's like an eye with a big circle around it right in the middle. Okay, so if you compare that to some of these other ones, this is the one that we're seeing in the, see how it's a pillar, and it's got like a little tulip thing at the top and a base here. And then this one has the big thing in the middle. Here's another one. It's the tulip thing. You know, this is the one like in the manual. Here's another one, same thing. So most of them appear like this, like in the, here's the one on eBay. Most of them appear like this, but that one did have the circle thing in it. I hate these sites where they want you to sign up so they can tell you what it's worth. Okay, so there's another one. Look, that's a completely different one with the circle thing in the middle. So there's two different types of pillars. So ours is the one with the pillars on it. I mean, with the circle things on it. So I looked in my stash of parts, and I have the exact same one. But it has different pillars, and there's one missing, which is why I never fixed it. I've been looking for that pillar. I knew I had seen that before. Look, it's the exact same thing. But they must have at some point made a different version that had that kind of a thing on it. So by looking at those pictures online, I'm going to see if I can tell what glass is supposed to be on it. Now, the Atlantic that we looked at had these pillars and was even this color, or, I guess it said oak. But the glass isn't right. So the one we saw had like a chain hanging here. You can see the pendulum through the middle, of course. There was a bunch of flowers. It's just slightly different. The glass got switched on those a lot. And this one looks like it's been refinished at some point. So maybe we can fix both of them. I need to find another one of these, or maybe a set of two, which I might have trouble trying to make look like this because somebody has refinished it, but we'll see what we can do. So I need one of these. And on this one, we just need to figure out what the glass is supposed to look like. So I'm just going to look at the other ones that are online. It would be interesting to see if the glass ever had that look on it. I'll see if I can find a picture of the ones that have that kind of, they were like curtains or something. It was something weird. I've seen that look before though on some of them. So anyway, I gotta find a part for that. And I also, this was our pendulum, and I believe that is correct, isn't it? That's the one that was in the picture. Interesting. Okay. So when I went back to pick it up, the guy had this stuff laying there. So he had just a generic pendulum. This is like a newer one, And this generic pendulum, also a newer one. But, decent stuff. Both of those very usable. And then he had these. I love these. Cuckoo weights. I've got a bunch of cuckoo clocks, but I don't have enough weights for them. These are the heavy ones too, so this is for like the bigger sets. It says 1425 on there. I don't know what that's for. But the guy already knew that I like clocks because he asked me, do you like clocks? So when I went back, this was laying there. It was there before, I just hadn't seen it. And I said, oh, how much on your pendulum? And he's like, I got another one. I was like, oh, how much on both of your pendulums? And these weights too. And he said, are those for a cuckoo clock? And I said, yeah, they're for a cuckoo clock. Because, you don't want them to know that you want the stuff. Because then to jack the price up. So he sold me all this for $5. Boy, he's a good guy. I like him. Okay, so I'm going to look at the pictures a little better and see if I can determine if there's differences between the glass on the two different versions and if what pendulums are with most of them. So here's a very nice oak one with the same pillars that we have on our oak one, and it has the glass that is shown in the manual, not the manual, the catalog. You can see the chain hanging down there, the flowers up here, and if you look very close, the pendulum is the same pendulum we've got on that came with our other one. So I believe that pendulum is correct probably for both of them. And this glass is correct at least for I guess that's not a chain, maybe that's a piece of bamboo. This glass is correct for at least the oak one. Okay, so I'm on timesavers.com, and they have this clock pattern. If I look at the pictures, there's just all kinds of different patterns on them. I don't know if that's because a lot of the glass has been replaced on a lot of them or not. But the one that we have, the oak one, the nicer one, has this glass on it. Now the problem I have though is that these glasses from Time Savers are 8 inches wide and 14 inches tall, which is too big for the door. So you have to trim it to fit your clock. And I can cut glass, but I don't know. They're $17.50. I don't know if I want to spend that and then cut the glass when I could break it. You know, I'd rather just get a clear piece of glass and cut it until I get it the right size and then put a rubbing on it. So I'm trying to find some kind of kitchen clock rubbing that I can put on it that's something at least similar. Well, I don't know, folks. I might have to order that one that we have to cut down because I can't find any of the transfers hardly. And I can't find any that are the original one. What is going on here? This is our next issue. What in the hell am I looking at? It's supposed to have a pin in it. And you know, the back door is, the back of the cabinet is falling off with the movement still attached to it. It is an original style movement though. So let me see if I can get this off. It's supposed to just be a pin. I hope they haven't glued that on there or soldered that on there. Let me see if I can figure out what the deal is. Well, you're gonna love this. I don't get it. So that was threaded on. Did they do those like that back then? So it's an original Ingraham movement, and it says 19, which seems right. The 5's probably the drop. It says 19, which seems right because I saw it in that catalog from 1907. And I saw it all the way up to 1928. It was still in the catalog. So in 19, they would have still been making it. But I can't figure out what's going on with this center post. Look at this. So I think I just set it down in the pivot in the back. I mean, in the bushing in the back. So we've got some serious damage going on. I think they've swapped it or something. I don't know. Like there's no pin. You know, you're supposed to have a hole that the pin goes through. All right, let me look at my other one to see if that's how Ingraham did it or what the hell. Oh, I didn't know that. That's just how Ingraham did it. They used the nut instead of a pin. Okay, well, cool. All right, so we need to clamp this. And this one's wound up really tight. I'm surprised the thing wasn't doing something. Yeah, it's letting the power out. It must have some like crazy wear on it. I guess it's just filthy. That's pretty bad there. That one seems all right. Really doesn't have that much wear other than the escapement wheel, which I guess is the worst thing to have wear on it. It's filthy though. So I guess just all the dirt is probably keeping it from actually doing anything. Okay, I'm gonna pull the movement off of the backboard and then we can turn it over and look at the back of it. All right, so here's the back. Yeah, it really makes you wonder when one's completely wound up like that. The bushings all look pretty good. Well, I shouldn't say all, but yeah, so that center wheel is just completely, it can move out of the plate. I don't understand how that's possible. How is there nothing holding it in place? Like, look how filthy this thing is. God, it's crazy. Look at the center wheel can just move around. How in the hell? Well, you know we're going to have to take her apart. That's the only way we're going to know. I've got some extra parts for these too. If I might have another center wheel. Okay, yeah, let me get some clamps on the springs and we'll see what we can do. Yeah, so this is just the filthiest movement I've ever seen. Crazy. Look at this. Look, it's got like motor oil dripping off of it. The ultrasonic cleaner has its work cut out for it on this one. So this has a spring up around that post there. I guess that's the maintenance lever. And this is the count lever. And this is going to be our J hook. That's interesting the way they made theirs. It's all like one piece instead of having different levers on the whatever. Look how filthy this is. Look at this. This is about the worst I've ever seen. On the pinball machines, I'm always complaining about how they spray WD-40 on everything. This is like motor oil. Look, it's all black. I don't know what did they put on this? That's not WD-40. It's like spray grease or something. Ooh. Not good. Looks like the teeth are all fine though, it's just bent. Maybe we can carefully bend that back. There is one tooth there. So the click was off of here. I think what happened was somebody messed with it and they pulled this off. Right? It was back over here. They pulled it off, which let the click come out, and that's why it sprung it down, and it literally knocked the back of the cabinet off, of the case off. We may be able to tell on the inside. There may actually be like a place where you can see where the slapped the side of it. Crazy. All right, so they're installed with the springs going around. And this spring is wrapped around that post. And that cradles the center wheel. I tried just spinning the time side by hand and it worked fine. Look at this. I mean, come on. What in the world? What in the world were they doing? Ugh. Let's save the center wheel for last so we can figure out what in the crap is going on there. Neither one of the springs is broken. Look at it. I'm just getting crap all over me. It's unbelievable. What kind of spray grease do you have that's black that, you know, I just don't understand. I just don't get what they did. All right, now for whatever reason, this could just come right up and out. What in the world? Yeah, so we'll have to figure that out. I'll figure it out. I've got some other parts and stuff, and we can look online. That looks fine. Yeah, so look there. So that's obviously something press fits there. And what happened, I think, is whenever whatever happened with with this, and it blew up the clock, it pushed it backwards, and the hands caught on the dial. You saw how it was just hanging on the dial, and tore apart whatever goes there, I guess. And this has that will actually move. All right, well, we'll figure it all out. I'm positive we'll figure it out. And we'll order some parts if we have to or whatever. Crazy. All right. So next step, put all this in the ultrasonic cleaner and ultrasonically clean it. So this is what it looks like to begin with. We'll see what it looks like after it gets out of the cleaner. All right, so I've got those zapping away. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and put the back door back on the clock. This is the top. Where the spring broke, I mean, there's a little bit of, or not broke, but popped out. I mean, that's it. So I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I can't figure it out. There's a little black mark there. That's just where the spring unwound all the way down, and the thing's so filthy that it was touching against the side of the cabinet and left that black mark. But you can see where they put the brown paint on it too. I wish they wouldn't have done that. But whatever. All right, so I'm going to carefully remove the nails that were in there, and then use the same nails, hopefully in the same exact spot, to pound the back door back on. Let's see if I can get it nice and solid. And then if we have to, I'll add a few more nails. All right, so that was as easy as it gets. They just went right back in their original holes and held it really solid. I think those are all the original nails. This one, this piece here has splintered off. So I just took the nail that was there and just moved it up to there. And there's a little bit of a gap there, but it's just, I think it was probably like that originally. It's a shame that the label's missing. But we know that it said Atlantic, right? Okay, so I'm going to clean it up a little bit, and then I think we might want to put some glue on it, because one of these, yeah, this one is all loose. It's just got one nail holding it up there, and there's one nail holding it there. This side is a little bit loose. So a little glue in that little valley thing that it has there. I have to hold it pretty good. Very cool. All right, so this glue dries clear, but I put a healthy amount on there. I did find something written on the back. I can't tell what the top says. Maybe that's just somebody's name. Kind of looks like hashtag, hashtag. So I'm getting like maybe V, hashtag, hashtag, and then 375, which might have been the price of it whenever they sold it at some point in its life. What do you think? All right, so we'll let the glue dry. Hopefully that'll help it out. And we're waiting on the stuff to come out of the ultrasonic cleaner and we can work on the movement a little bit. Well, the ultrasonic cleaner remains undefeated. Look at that. I just can't believe how clean it gets these. And it's not even, you could probably get a cleaner running it through it again. It's just, so that's 110 years old. Look at the front plate. And I didn't polish these or anything. I just ran it through with a cleaner. It got all the grease and oil off. Maybe the oil helped protect it. Look at that. 106 years old, I guess. You could polish it and get it even nicer, but I don't really want it super nice. I just want it to look clean, and it looks very clean. That's just incredible. So look at the wheels. You saw how greasy they were. Look at that. I mean, that looks like it's brand new. Look at that. You wouldn't even think it's the same clock. But I can prove to you that it is. This is the one that was bent. So I think I can bend that back. This is the strike side. And the only thing that's damaged is there's one tooth that's bent over. And then that piece there is bent. I think I can just bend it right back with a pair of pliers very carefully. If I had a vise, I'd just put it in the vise, but I think I can bend it back by hand. It's the strike side too, so it's, yeah, it's, you want it to be right, but it's not, as long as that tooth will travel through, it's going to work. That's pretty wild. Look at all that. And of course we got to fix this. I think this will just slide right back together. It looks like what's going on is this gear kind of presses in place on those splines there. And what happened was whenever it popped apart or they pulled it apart or whatever, it just knocked that off of there. And then all this goes up afterwards. And I have right here, this is the exact same piece off of, out of a bunch of parts I've got. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna make this one look like that one. And I think it'll just go right back together. I don't think it'll be any problem. I've got this one too that is slightly different. All right, so I'm still got the levers and stuff in there. I usually try to do those separate because I've noticed on some things, whenever you have brass and then you have like this black steel, or sometimes it's I guess it's like whatever this is made out of. If you were to put this pendulum in with this stuff, you would end up with some of the black of this maybe not on the brass, but on this stuff and all of this plating, you'll lose a lot of this plating. So I might put it in there, but only for a few minutes. If you put this in there 20 minutes, it'll end up being like half black, because with the chemicals that I use. So I don't know. Yeah, but look at it compared to the, that is crazy. And of course you get a pretty good example there. Look at that. And you just saw that this one was worse than that one. Look how it cleaned up the shaft of it. Some of it's that it had oil all over it. You know, oil actually is a cleaner too. So, you know, if you're going to store something, soaking it in grease and oil isn't the worst way to store it, you know. Keeps it protected. Oh yeah. This is one thing that I was a little bit concerned about. It looks like they've rigged that up with some solder. All the little pinions are still in there. So there's the pivot on that end. And the pivot on that end. I mean, they look fine, so I don't know. I don't know why they did that with the solder. I guess maybe that piece was coming off the end or something. But obviously it still needs cleaned up a little bit. But look at the blade too. It's cut on the ends. I wonder if somebody made one or something. Or maybe they took it off something else. Or maybe it's been hitting something. I mean, that looks like cut marks to me. So maybe they took a bigger one and made this one out of it. I don't know. But, hey, if she works, she works. All right, so I'm going to test fit the time side together, I think, and just look for bushings that need replaced. I think we've decided this one does, and see if any of the other ones need it, and we'll go from there. All right, so I just kind of loosely fit it together and checked every pivot. I'm going to polish them too, which actually, you know, can make the pivots slightly smaller, which would cause you problems and more bushings. So we'll check them again after that. But the only one I see that really to me looks like a problem is that escapement wheel one right there. If you look at the back of the plate, you can see that that's never had a bushing. That's the original hole. On the front, it almost looks like a bushing. But it's not, it's just how they stamped it. So, I'll show you a little closer up. The light kind of helps you see it. So if you look, that is not a round hole anymore, it's elongated. And the extra is at the bottom. So it has actually pushed it down. If you look at these up here, they don't have anything in them, so they're still perfectly round. And so that's like the number, I think it's the number 3 wheel there. You can see it's still pretty round. That's on the strike side. It's still nice and round. But yeah, you see how on the bottom there, it's kind of worn out a little bit. The top's fine, the bottom's a little bit long. That one is pretty good. Looks round. That one's still pretty good. So it's in pretty good shape, actually. These usually don't get much wear. I think that's the little, that's like the little minute wheel thing. Some of these don't even have a anything in them. Yeah, so there's very little wear, really. That's the count wheel, and I guess that's the second wheel on the strike side. Yeah, the only one I see, at least on this front plate, is that one for sure. Okay, so let me look at the back plate. All right, so I've just got that in there to hold it from moving because I wound it up a little bit. So if I put some tension on it, I can see that this bearing or this bushing here is the worst. It's pushing it down. So I just made a little mark that I need to move it back a little bit. So I'm gonna look for the center of the original pivot up a little bit. It should be sitting like this. This one is actually moving up and should be down a little bit. Okay, this one's fine. And then on the back, we have the same thing on both of those. The worst one though is this front one on the escapement. These other two, they've moved a little bit, but it's not crazy. So just by cleaning it, we've probably got it where it'll work, but I'm gonna replace this front one, see how well it goes, and then I might do this one and move on, you know. But it's got plenty of power. It's unwinding, no problem. But who knows once you get the verge on. But that's pretty rough. All right, so I'm gonna do that first. So I want to rant a little bit. It is so hard to get parts for these things. It really is. And the best place to get them that I've discovered is Time Savers. But Time Savers, if they're sold out of something, you really don't have, you got to order it somewhere else. I'm just going to let this run down. You've got to order it somewhere else. So I've ordered a while back, I've had them a year, these, I think it's KVM, is it KVM, I think is the name of the type of bushings. So there's Bergian and then KVM or KWM, whatever they are, types of bushings. I chose these. I can't remember exactly why, but for whatever reason, I chose these that are not the Bergian ones. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. But the other ones, the KWM ones or whatever, okay? So I ordered those. Well, they're a particular size. So the diameter is 2.7 millimeters, for instance, for whatever hole I need to put the bushing in. So I need to cut everything to 2.77 millimeter. So they make a 2.7 millimeter reamer, or whatever you want to call it. Bushing tool, bushing reamer. And so I ordered that, and it's the one for that thing. Well, there's two different types. It has this little bar on it to mount it in the holder for, right? So I ordered a holder for it. Well, the place I ordered it from was not Time Savers. They sent me the wrong one. This is the one for the Bergian ones. They mount different, and so they use a flat on the side of the reamer, and you use this knurled knob to hold it in place. Okay. So they sent me the wrong one. Well, then I tried to order the other one, and nobody had it. So they were just sold out. So finally, I found a company that has it. I ordered it. It gets here. It's not made right. It was too small for this to fit in. So this won't fit in it. So I start messing with it and broke one of the damn teeth off of it. So after waiting 4 months or whatever to get this thing, the thing won't fit in there. So I put that on an anvil and tapped it down in there with a hammer. Right? So now it's half-ass mounted, and maybe it'll work like that, but it's just you end up waiting for weeks and weeks and weeks for some of these parts. Time Savers though, they're real quick. Time Savers, they save you time. You order the stuff from Time Savers, you get it in about 4 or 5 days. And they've got whatever they say they've got, and they send you the right part. But I'm not impressed with some of the other places. I'm not naming names, just saying. And it could be maybe I'm just getting a bad deal with them. But I've had about 3 different orders from different places that just ain't right. Something's missing. They send me the wrong thing. They send me something that doesn't even freaking... that isn't even up to the specs of what it's supposed to be. I don't know what the hell this is, but it's not the right holder. I paid for the right holder. But anyway, Moving on. Let me see if I can get that bushing in there. All right, so I'm trying to put this minute wheel back together, but unfortunately one of the little collars is cracked. So I think because of all of the abuse that it took, you know, hanging in the clock and everything, whenever it pushed through or whatever, at one point it snapped that. So I can't get that to hold this in place. You can see that crack in it, right? The other part, I was able to get back where it goes. It just kind of slid down over that. There's a like a knurled part there, but if you look, it's cracked as well. So the whole thing's got issues. So we're not gonna be able to use that one. But luckily, I have another one here. I think is just like it. Not that one. Yeah, that one. Is it the same exact length? Might be slightly different. If it's slightly different, we're in trouble. Nope, same exact thing. So that's fortunate. Exact same length. Just needs to be cleaned up a little bit. And it has the square end for the hand, just how it's supposed to. There we go. So I just need to clean this in the ultrasonic, and then it'll be good to go. I don't understand this part, but this moves, and the other one moves too, so I guess that's correct. I guess that's not supposed to be stuck. That one moves, and this one moves, so it must be how it's designed. Okay, so let me see if I can get this one to look as clean as this one. All right, so it cleaned right up. Here's the original one, and then here's the one we're going to substitute in. Seems to be identical. This one I cleaned up too, but I don't even know what it goes to. We'll keep it for another one. I looked online. I didn't see. I was just going to order some more, so I got some backups, but I didn't see any on eBay. This particular type. Okay, so I'm going to put it back in. I also fixed this little wheel. Remember, it was all bent up. Is this the one? That's not the one. This little wheel. See if you can tell which one of them it was. Oh, that probably gives it away, huh? So this is where the no, I was wrong. This is where the damage was. See all the little spots? That's because I used a pair of pliers that wasn't completely flat. But we fixed the one little tooth. One of those ones right there in the middle was bent, and I bent it back. Everything's pretty cool. If I spin it in my hand, it spins pretty true. It's not perfect, but I think it's going to be good enough for the strike side, you know. All right, so I'm gonna put it all back together. Oh, and I got the 4 bushings in. Did I mention that? I did 4 bushings. By hand, of course. Okay, so let me try to put it all back together. See if I can. You know, I have the shakes sometimes, and see if we can get it to seem like it's running. Past midnight. I didn't film it because I had a little issue, but I fixed it. Basically, so that's a new pivot, and the one on the back is. So just as an experiment, you know, this is a cheap clock, people. I'm experimenting. I'm trying to learn. I didn't know how tight they should be, right? So you can see the wobble in it. With a little bit of play. So that's how I did that one. This one I actually did the next size up. So there's a little bit more play. Not as much as it was originally, but a little bit more. So when I put it all back together, it wouldn't turn very well. I mean, you could force it to turn, but it wouldn't turn smooth like it. Look how smooth. I think that's actually the direction that it goes. Is it? Yes. So that's the direction it goes. Right? Turning very smooth now. So anyway, it wasn't turning all that smooth, and I'm pretty positive it was because I had those bushings too tight. There, that's a pretty good look at it. Had those bushings too tight. So what I did was I dressed them a little better. So I left the same bushings in, and I have a ton of brooches and stuff. I don't know how to use them, but I've got a bunch. All these are full of brooches, but most of these are little small ones, like more for pocket watches and wrist watches. These are a bunch of files and a few brooches. Got some more over here. So what I did was I filed the bushing, both of them, the one on the front plate and the back plate, just for that one gear. I could tell it was that gear. I mean, it was pretty tight. And you could turn it, and it would turn all right, but it wouldn't, as soon as you let go of it, it would stop, right? So it was killing the train. So I used this little flat file here to file the bushing down flat on the back. I had it pretty flat, but I guess it wasn't perfectly flat. I could see that it was pinching the pivot, you know. So I filed it completely flat, so it was completely, it wasn't proud of the plate at all on the back. On the end, on the side it might be. Right, so I got it nice and flat. And then I test fitted the gear, and it was a little bit tight still. So I used this smoothing broach just to open it up just a little bit. So you just, if this thing is amazing, it must be threaded. If you turn it to the right, it goes deeper and gets stuck basically, so you don't want to go too far. And then if you turn it back to the left, it pulls back out. So this made it just a little bit bigger. And that seemed to have done the trick. Oh, and then the other thing is, looking through my brooches, I actually ordered one of these, but I guess I don't need it now. I've got all these pin vices too that I bought. So I found this. So this is a chamfering bit, or at least that's how I'm using it. So this, you see how it's kind of pointed? So what you can do with this is put it in a bushing. I won't do it, of course, but you put it in a bushing. This one's too big as well, but you know, and that's too big. A small bushing like this, and then turn it like one turn, and it'll cut just a little tiny bit of brass off just the top. So you're basically making just you're making the top of the pivot, or the bushing, instead of being perfectly flat, it'll have just a little tiny well in it. And so I did that on the inside of each plate. So on the back side of this bushing, and then on the bushing down on the other end, right where the, you know, what the pivot hips up against. And that seems to have done the trick. This thing turns good now, and this is with no oil, you know. So I think once we oil it, it'll be even better. So I think that's next. Got to put a little oil on it, and I've got to hang the verge on it and see what happens. Look how perfect this verge seems to be for this thing. If you just, I have no spring tension on it at all, but if you just move the verge back and forth, it pushes the escape wheel. Look at that. Wow. Getting late, people. It's probably a little bit out of beat, but I don't want to mess with it too much because we still got to mess with the cabinet a lot. Got a pretty good amplitude on it, you know, how far it's swinging the pendulum. I'd say a little bit better than that one up there. That one's got a longer pendulum. But I don't know, maybe if they're longer, they don't swing as far. I don't know. I guess it's different for every movement. But yeah, it looks like we might be onto something here. It's a recoil. If you look really close, it actually goes backwards just slightly. Oh no, it's not a recoil, is it? Is that, I guess they call that a half deadbeat. I had to read up on that a little more. But yeah, seems pretty good. So we got some cosmetic stuff to do. I went ahead and ordered the piece of glass. That will be in soon, I'm sure. I'm happy with that. I think that's going to be a good little clock. It's kind of ugly. Don't say it too loud. They might hear. But that's all right. We're going to fix it. And I'm going to leave this this dial, which is probably the original face, or the original dial. I'm just going to leave it. Yeah, I like whenever they're worn. I wish they hadn't painted it. God. Very cool. All right, so I'm happy with that. What do you think? I think so far we're doing pretty good. Now that movement may have just worked fine without us messing with it, cleaning it, putting bushings in it. Obviously that minute wheel, or I guess that's the minute wheel. Obviously that minute wheel was screwed up. But if we fix just that, and you know, once you're taking it apart, you got to clean it. Oh, I didn't do the chime for you. Are you ready? Just struck the half hour, you know. No, that's striking one, obviously. Sometimes they have a extra little line, and it's the half hour. Now, I will admit she's loud whenever it's doing the little regulator thing, or the governor thing. But I don't care. I think it works just fine. It's hard for that to wear a lot, too. I mean, I guess it does eventually. But, you know, that escapement wheel is moving a heck of a lot more than the strike is. Well, I guess the strike goes so fast, though. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think so far. I think we did pretty good so far. I know we saved it. And I spent on it, I can't remember what did I pay? $10. And so far I've spent whatever the cost of one of these center wheels is. What's that worth? $5? So $15, a little bit of oil I put on the pivots and on the springs. Oh, I've still got the freaking spring holders in there. I didn't take them out. But you can just leave them. You won't get as much time out of them, though. I guess when I wind it all the way up, I might be able to fish those out while it's in the cabinet. Hopefully. But I'm going to have to do another video anyway. Maybe we'll have to take the movement back out, but whatever. So there you go, folks. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think so far, and we will see you next time. Now, if you like these old gingerbread clocks, which I guess you do, or you wouldn't be watching this, we did another one a while back. Check this out.